Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Monday, the 10th of June 2024. In today's Millwall news, we have an injury update. Yes, there are still some players injured, and yes, they are coming to get fit. So, this is from the South London Press, londonnewsonline.co.uk. Millwall duo both progressing well as they bid to be on course for start of pre-season training. Millwall head coach Neil Harris is happy at the way Murray Wallace and Joe Bryan are rehabbing from injury. Experienced Scottish defender Wallace missed the end of the last campaign with a back fracture. Sustained against Rotherham United. Former Fulham left-back Bryan has surgery on a groin problem just before the 23-24 season was completed. Millwall squad report back for pre-season training at the end of the month, the 26th, I believe. Joe Bryan and Murray Wallace are progressing well, Harris told the South London Press. We're hoping that they're both fit on the start line on June 26th to get going with the other players, so they will be ready for the start of pre-season games. And if they're not ready for right at the start of pre-season, then we're hoping they're going to be very close behind. We're relatively confident with Joe. It's more with Murray, the nature of a back injury, just making sure that he's suitably recovered. We might just have to be a little bit more mindful of managing these loads and game minutes over the course of pre-season, just to make sure we don't cause any further damage unnecessarily. So there you go. Moving on to this, which we've already covered on this channel, it's now been covered by the suttonnews.co.uk. A Domu Maku nets in Ireland under 21 friendly and set to face off against Millwall teammate next. The 20-year-old returned from his break to take part in some international football. Yes, let's have it. So, Adamu Maku found the net for the Republic of Ireland under 21s in a 3-2 friendly win over Croatia. The 20-year-old scored after teammates Andrew Moran and Sinclair Armstrong to give the Irish a commanding lead before a fight back from the home side in Zagreb. Maku made an intelligent run behind the Croatian backline early in the second half, took the ball beyond the keeper and slid it into the empty net from a tight angle to make it 3-0. It's his fourth goal for the under-21s over the last year. Maku and his teammates will be targeting European Championship qualification in the autumn. Elsewhere, Romain Esse was also in action for England's men's elite league team, who were previously known as the under-20s. Esse came off the bench in the final 25 minutes of a 2-1 friendly win over Sweden, but by then the damage had already been done after goals from Leicester City's Will Alves and Tottenham Hotspur's Dane Scarlett in either half. Maku and Esse, who are good friends in the Millwall dressing room, are now set to face each other tomorrow afternoon when Ireland and England meet in a friendly. So yeah, both players will then return to Camelot Road for the start of pre-season training that we just mentioned. So yeah, tomorrow's video we'll be covering that game and see how they get on. Now, moving on to this, the first of the released players has found a club, as far as we know. So here we go. Nana Boateng. This is from londonnewsonline.co.uk. Released Millwall winger signs with National League side. Nana Boateng has signed a two-year deal with National League side Sutton United after his release from Millwall. The 21-year-old was made a free agent in the summer after loan spells at Woking and Solihull Moors. He made one senior appearance for Millwall, coming on as a substitute in a 2-1 defeat at home to Crystal Palace in the FA Cup in January 2022. Sutton, managed by Millwall legend Steve Morrison, were relegated from League 2 last season and will be looking to win promotion back at the first time of asking. Morrison said, "I've had our eye on Nana for a while and we're delighted to give him a platform to push on in his career after a great time at Solihull last season. He's a tricky winger who likes to get the ball into the box, and we're all looking forward to seeing his pace and seeing him torment opposition defences." Indeed. Interesting that it's a 2-year deal, so bit of a pressure off of him and doesn't have to worry about proving himself to get a new deal straight away. But you would think that you still need to push yourself and get going, and hopefully all the best to him. Good luck. Now, moving on to this from the EFL. The EFL this past week have had their powwow, their big meeting, end of year thing, and they obviously all constantly meddling and coming up with new rules. So here we go. This is from EFL.com. So they've been putting out these statements regarding several things. This one is about financial controls. So League 1 and League 2 at a combined divisional meeting today. Leagues 1 and 2 agreed to revise and update their set of salary cost management protocols. There was a unanimous acknowledgement among clubs that there is an immediate and acute need to reform in order to stem the rise in losses facing both divisions, currently averaging 5 million per club in League 1 and 1.5 million in League 2. Clubs are committed to implementing change and will consider the issue over the course of the close season. And for the Championship, clubs have also committed to change and agreed in principle to target the end of the calendar year to determine how future cost controls in the division will work. Clubs will now consider multiple options to enhance or replace the current profitability and sustainability rules via a new working party that will represent the views of all 24 clubs before deciding on the most appropriate direction of travel. So there you go. The rules are as they are. You can lose a certain amount over 3 years. It's all kind of weird, and nobody really knows what it is and what it all means. And I think they're trying to replace it with something a bit simpler, like a wage cap or something like that. You can only spend a certain amount of money on wages. But here's the thing: whatever rules you put in, there will always be people trying to get around them, isn't it? Bend, not break the rules. Now, in a similar vein, this is also from EFL.com, from their summer meeting. Regulation changes, more red tape. Let's get some red tape. So at today's AGM, EFL clubs voted to approve several changes to the EFL regulations, which will come into effect immediately. And these include, so there's not a full list, just these include facilities for disabled supporters. A new regulation has come into effect requiring disabled supporters with general admission tickets to be situated with fellow away club supporters. Previously, this has not been the case in all circumstances, and clubs have agreed all away supporters should be provided with the opportunity to be sat with one another. Obviously, down at Millwall, this is not the case. For many years, when the away fans have been in the upper tier, the disabled fans have been in the lower tier, all on their own, or generally together with a minder. So how are we all going to deal with that? Does that mean that now we have to have the away fans in the lower section? But then you can just get was it a safety advisory group to say, oh yeah, that's unsafe, and then the police says, well, we would love to do it, but we can't do it because the police have told us we can't. So don't know what that's going to mean. Fan engagement plan. The EFL was updated and added new regulations to require clubs to produce and deliver a fan engagement plan. More mumbo jumbo red tape from season 24-25. Clubs will be required to publish a FEP on an annual basis, which will be overseen by a senior club official. This requirement builds on the work clubs are already undertaking with supporters, including hosting 2 meetings or fan forums each season to get their views on key issues by club. So basically, they'll say they will need to publish a fan engagement plan. What is your fan engagement plan? We will be having a fans forum. And then at the end of the season, they'll have to, how did we engage in our fan engagement plan? Our engagement in our fan engagement plan was good. We organised a fans forum, and it had fans at it, and they were engaged. Thank you very much. This has been the presentation of Millwall's fan engagement plan. It's the bureaucracy, the managerialism. Everything needs a bit of paper or plan, some kind of action, some kind of nonsense. You can't do any kind of job, even if you've been doing it for 30 years. You need the piece of paper that says you need to do it. They're now bringing in, the coaching badges. They're bringing that in for fitness coaches now, and there's all courses for set piece coaches. You can go and get a badge from the FA for being a set piece coach and for being a fitness coach, a football fitness coach. So there you go. So that's how it's going. Club community organisations. The league has introduced a new regulation which now requires clubs to either have or establish a club community organisation to support the objectives of the club in delivering community sports, education and charitable activities. So basically what Millwall have been doing with the MCT, every club has to have this now. Previously there was no such arrangement in place, and whilst clubs have been supporting their communities through their club community organisations for many years, this now formalises the position. Like I said, more paperwork. In addition, clubs and the CCO must now have a legally binding service level agreement that meets the requirements of guidance provided by the EFL and EFL in the community. It also requires a club to procure the CCO's compliance with the SLA. What? Service level agreement. So it also requires the club to procure the CCO's compliance with the service level agreement. What the fuck does any of that mean? I don't know, but it needs to be done. It's a new bit of red tape, new bit of regulation for a football club. You know, football, simple game, a round ball, a grass pitch, with 2 goals at either end, and now a CCO and an SLA and the EFL and a CCO and all of that shit. So there you go. Isn't it fantastic? And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.